Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Hang on a quick second here. Let's make sure everything's in order. I'm in a new place this evening, so I'm hoping that you guys can see and hear me okay. Looks like the chat has not started yet, so we will just keep our fingers crossed. It's good to see you guys. Hello, hello. Okay, lots of really good things to talk about tonight. First of all, I'm in a new space just for this evening. I am in Texas, and I have this beautiful place. I was able to light some candles. And hello, everybody. It's good to see you guys. Just give me a thumbs up or something in the comments to let me know that you can see and hear me okay. The comments don't so far. I haven't seen anything. But good to see you guys here. All right. And there's different lighting. Everything's different here. But it's all good. And I had some really eye-opening experiences this week that I want to share with you guys. And I also welcome your questions this week. So as we talk about some of the things we're going to talk about tonight, specifically about time and the things that we spend our life doing, I don't like to use the term waste time, but how we don't use time to its fullest, and lots of things about time tonight that really came up as an important thing for me today. So first, we give everybody a quick second to jump on. You guys know the first couple of minutes, I just like to do an introduction. For those of you who may be new to the channel, my name is Elaine. I'm an animal Reiki master and chaplain and medium. I focus on helping people. This channel specifically focuses on helping people heal after the loss of an animal companion. We have a wonderful supportive community who joins us every Monday night. You can catch their comments, and we welcome anybody who needs to hear messages of hope and healing, is what it comes down to. And the messages come from our animal companions on the other side of life. And yes, we do get a little hairy-fairy. That's what I like to call it. Sometimes we go far down the rabbit hole. Sometimes we just talk a little bit about some of those metaphysical, spiritual things, but it's all connected. We are all connected, and all the things I talk about, I try to keep it real. I just try to keep it real. Most of you who have followed me for a while know that I'm a corporate dropout. I was 35 years in corporate. I held an executive HR position, and I walked away when the animals really started connecting with me. And I realized that we were still connected even after they crossed to the other side. So those are the messages that I like to share. And if you are new to the channel, and whether you're catching this live or on the replay, feel free to post your questions and comments. I try to respond to every single one. Now, I started this live stream. This is episode 40. And you guys know that last week I was traveling, and I promised that I would come to you, even if I had to come to you from a truck stop, because I keep it real. This channel is 100% just real. We cry together. We laugh together. Make mistakes together. We do everything. We just live in this beautiful life together. And I was last Monday was the first Monday in a year. It's been almost a year. It would have been episode 40 last week, and I just couldn't make it happen. And that's okay. Because I go with divine timing. I did pull into a truck stop. I pulled into a Casey's truck stop, and I was going to figure out a way to do it, but it was just impossible. It's impossible. So I let it go. I just let it go and trusted in divine timing as we stick to the topic of timing. Okay, so I don't see any comments yet, but it could just be me, and it could just be the whole chat thing here that I don't see. I'm going to send myself a little love heart just to see if, okay, so I see it. And anybody who wants to send me a comment, feel free to say hello. Usually it might just not be working, because I usually have a whole group of you guys in here saying hello, hello. All right, we'll see how it goes. And if I miss your comment, I promise to go back and check them, because I try to answer them all. So I started to say that what I did was I saw a couple fresh comments come up on some older videos, and I went back and replied to them. And when I did so, I noticed that there was a couple comments from a year or more ago that I had missed. So I try not to ever let that happen. I try to respond to everybody's comment or question with some kind of either pointing in the right direction or some kind of supportive message. So if you have a comment, feel free to go ahead and share with that. So what do I want to talk about tonight? Tonight, I want to share, and I did my little automatic writing as always. I want to talk about our sense of time as human beings, and what our animal companions from the other side are sharing with us about these little devices that never seem to leave our hands. And this came to me this morning when I was in the airport. among some other things when I was traveling this morning in the airport, a very, very frantic or frenetic place. That's what I found to be the airport to be this morning as I was there. And it's pretty much like that every single time, where it seems to bring out the best and the worst in people who are at the airport. So we're going to talk about time. I want to talk about a lesson I've learned from Gypsy. I want to talk about a lesson that I've learned from Nana. I'm going to talk about Nana and why I'm in Texas today. And I also want to talk about the reading that I want to do is directly related to time. And it's for an animal companion whose name I do not know. I only know about a comment that the person made about this animal companion. I don't even know if it's a kitty cat or a dog. Or a horse or a bearded dragon. I have no idea. A bunny rabbit, not sure. But the comment was, I just wish that I could turn back the clock. I want her back. And I think, and my reply to that comment, as I know that all of you guys would support, is that I think we've all been there. All of us on this, everybody who follows has lost an animal companion or has had an animal companion cross to the other side of life recently or in the recent past or in the distant past. And that all of us have had this feeling of wishing that we could just turn the clock back, wishing that we could have done things differently. We should have, could have, would have. I call it shooting ourselves to death. We could have, should have, would have done something different. But what I always say is that we do the best we possibly can at that moment in time with the information we have, with the situation we have, with the feelings we have. We do the best we can. And to second guess ourselves, it's just a pointless exercise. If anything, allow it to help you become a better companion to animals in the future. But we're going to talk about what it means to turn back the clock. And I have a little something different for you guys tonight. If you guys are able to join me, again, if you're watching this on the replay, you just wait until you have a time when you can sit quietly. But for those of you who are watching this live, I think I'm going to try and lead us through a guided meditation, a little guided visualization is what I should call it. A little guided visualization for turning the clock back and trying to make a connection with our animal companions who have crossed to the other side. So what do we want to say about time? The first thing is I want to share the story about Nana. So I'm here in Texas because many of you know a person who was in our group who is a family member of mine did make her transition a few weeks ago. And it's directly tied to the topic of time because time for me for the past, I want to say 6 to 8 weeks seems to be it seems to have speeded up. There's so much going on. I call it being on fast forward. I felt up until today, I felt as if my life were on fast forward. There were things happening, unexpected things, expected things, but things happening all at the same time, things causing my energy to be scattered. That I shouldn't say cause, things that resulted in my energy being scattered. Things that made me forgetful, things that made me miss, like not being able to do a live stream like I do. I've done it every single Monday since the first week of January. But yeah, as you guys know, I did that little makeup video for you, and I promised to do a makeup live stream too, because I won 52 of them this year. Okay, so I am in Texas today. I'm in Texas because I'm helping the family as we put Nana's affairs in order and take care of her house and all of her beautiful things. And so I am wearing this evening some beautiful things that I just didn't even know that how deeply Nana was, and we all call her Nana, so you can call her Nana too. I didn't understand how deeply Nana was a true healer and a true spiritually connected person. I always held her in my mind as a devout Catholic, not knowing just how spiritual she really was. So I am here wearing a couple pieces of her jewelry this evening. I have this beautiful ring on. I have this beautiful butterfly ring on. I have to show you guys this. I have this beautiful butterfly ring. And I have this beautiful necklace that has a bear paw on it. So the animal things that I have discovered as we have been helping to go through and sort all of her things and put everything in order, it's just left me with such a feeling of peace. So I put on some of these pieces tonight to help give me that sense of peace. Now, it really is odd that I have not seen any comments yet. So I wonder if somebody can even just give me a thumbs up. Okay, I see some thumbs up. I see some likes. If you guys can let me know, says, unable to connect to the chat. Try again later. All right, so I'm not sure what's going on there, but I am just going to let it be. Maybe I'm not supposed to have chat this evening, so we'll see what happens. Because I'm missing all my buddies, all my Sharon and Sherry and Cheryl and Donna and Jess, and I'm trying to think of everybody else who jumps on. So let's talk about how this. I want to talk about Nana and I want to talk about time, because I was in the airport this morning, and if you guys have been in an airport recently, they are. It was a pretty frenetic place, crazy energy all over the place, crazy energy at the TSA line, crazy energy even on I take a little light rail to the train, crazy energy on the train, crazy energy in the restroom, crazy energy at the counter, at the gate. All of these things were very, there's a lot of hecticness. There's a lot of urgency. There's a lot of rushing. There is a lot of people going to and fro and running, and there, you can feel this dense energy. I love the word dense. You can really feel this dense energy. And then you have all these people walking around, staring at their phones as they're walking, or sitting down. Everybody's got their head like this, looking at the phone, which for me has something directly to do with time. And all this clock watching. There's a lot of everything is about time. Don't miss your flight. You got to be here 20 minutes early. You got to be here at this time and here at this time. Okay, do we have enough time to go to the bathroom? Do I have enough time to get a water? Do I have enough time? What Nana and this beautiful animal companion that I'm going to share this information with tonight, who her human wants to turn back the clock, our animal companions have no sense of time the way that we do. They do not count the hours and the minutes. They know when it's dinner time. They don't know when it's 8 o'clock or 12 o'clock. They don't know if it's been a week, a day, a year, a month. They have a general broad sense of time, but nothing like we do. You don't see a dog rushing to do something. You don't see a cat who's counting down the minutes. It doesn't work that way at all. And animals on the other side of life, they want to remind us that it doesn't work that way at all. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. I want to share, I do want to talk about Nana and her being a healer, but I want to share something else first. I want to share with you the way that my Mondays usually go. I do these every Monday evening, and it's become a thing that I really look forward to. I look forward to connecting. In fact, I really am missing the chat because I look forward to connecting with all of you. I look forward to, if somebody has my cell phone number, I know a couple of you have my cell phone number, text me, message me if, somebody is already messaging me. Let's just see if that is a message about, okay. You guys are so awesome. You guys are so awesome. Somebody already texted me to say, yeah, here's the messages coming through. All right. So hello to Lauren, Kimmy, Sharon, Jess, Sherry, Cheryl. That's so cool. I love you guys so much. Pat. All right. Good to see you too. Kathy, Annie. Woohoo. I don't know why I can't see it. My chat is not working at all. Bummer. I wonder how I can wonder if I can trick it somehow to make me pop out the chat. I wonder what that does. All right, there we go. I popped out the chat. Now I can do it. All right, hang tight. I'm going to move this out of my vision. Oh, it's so good to see you guys. Robbie, awesome. Yay. Thank you. Kali, fantastic to see you as well. Okay, we are good. Now I feel so much better. Woo! Here, let's send me some more love hearts. I love you guys so much. All right. So now the gang's all here. Makes me very happy. Sharon, where are you? I don't see Jody. All right. No, don't worry, Jody. We're all good because I just got the chat to work. It was not showing me anything. Can you just feel like the change in my energy, even knowing that you guys are here? So awesome. So I want to share with you what my Mondays typically look like because it has a direct impact on the content of these videos. On Mondays, I know that I look forward to this every single Monday, regardless of what I'm doing. I look forward to this time with you guys. And I like to share these messages. And I love that I get to do this. So on Mondays, at some point during the day, I'm usually watching my granddaughter. So today is an exception. I'm not. I'm usually watching my granddaughter, and I carve a little bit of time out to put together the little email newsletter. So I just do this little email newsletter. You guys know it's not anything dramatic. I don't do anything really big, and I try not to ever do marketing emails. They just drive me crazy. So I try not to do that to you guys, only if it's something important that I really want to announce. But I do the little weekly messages from the Rainbow Bridge, and I sit down and I send that message. But it's become a thing. Like, I know how to do it now. I have to log on at this particular time. I've got to get all these messages. I've got to figure out what it is that I'm going to say. I have to create my new little graphic, and I create a graphic for the thumbnail for YouTube. And I go through this whole little process that can be routine. I guess a routine is what I go through on Mondays. And then I send out the newsletter and I schedule it. And then I organize the live stream so that I'm able just to click a little button when it comes time to go live. And a little bit before the live stream, I go to my emails and I check who the person is who is ready for their reading this week. And then I will generally go to a quiet place. I have a little quiet place in my room at home where I can sit quietly and I can connect with the animal that I want to connect with that day. And I do my automatic writing. I do a little meditation. I do an automatic writing. I receive information that I meant to share with you guys and that I meant to share with the human companion. And then the time comes for me to go live. And I go in here, I bring up there's a reason why I'm telling all this. I open up my computer, make sure everything is functional. And then I send out a little message, and then I click the live button and I go. And we talk, and I have information that I want to share. It usually comes to me throughout the week, but it's always inspired information from our animals on the other side of life. But it's a process, and a process that I didn't realize until today sometimes takes away from my enjoyment of these videos. So today I got to do something really cool because I'm at a family member's home. And she has a beautiful space. Look at all this beautiful space. She's got a totally zen office. I couldn't be more zen than I am in here. So I took some extra time tonight. And before doing anything, I lit some incense. I burned some sage. I lit some candles. I did a sound bowl clearing for the room. I really, really, really took the extra time to create an environment that made me feel calm and at ease and in flow. And it is so, I just enjoy it so much more. And I can't wait to go back to my own home office and do a little rearranging. I love some of the things. I love my little lion in the background. I love some things that I have going on in my own, but there's a little zen environment here that I am going to reintroduce into my own home, and that I would recommend that you guys do as well. Our animal companions respond. Now, I have the door closed, so the kitty cats won't come in, but there are 3 kitty cats here who love to be in this space. And I know that when I sat down here to connect with this beautiful animal companion who wants to have the clock turn back, I can feel this presence. And even with there's just something about the environment. So I would also invite you guys, we're going to talk about this in just a second. Just a second. How many references to time do we even have in our language all day long? The references to time. But we're going to get to that after. I'm trying to not use another time reference after I tell you the story of Nana. I think we all do. I'm here. My chat isn't working right. Oh, good, Sharon. Yeah, the chat was being funky for me too, and I don't know why. Sorry to hear about your doggy. Thank you, Kathy. For anybody who is joining us for the very first time, either live or you're watching this at some point in the future, this community is so incredibly supportive of anyone who's experienced the loss of an animal companion. All of us here have not experienced the passing of an animal companion. We've experienced the passing of a soulmate. Our animal companions are truly our family, our love, our joy, our life, and we know what it feels like. So please reach out, and this beautiful community sends virtual hugs out to everybody. It's so incredibly supportive. This is another reason why I love you guys so much. Okay, let's talk about Nana real quick. Nana the healer. So my beautiful little pendant with the bear paw and wearing her rings. She was a true healer. She's a physician and is now on the other side. And I don't want to share too much personal information, but I want to share that a very close family member experienced a very, and this is important because it also works with our animals, experienced a very close communication with Nana from the other side of life. Now, Nana has commented in here before, you guys. I've said, Nana, it's so good to see you. Nana has commented in our chat. Before she passed, she followed my videos, and she was a wonderful member of our little community. She wasn't on as regular as some of you guys, but she was here. So this family member said that she went outside. I'm just going to tell you this story, that she went outside and was just looking up at the stars, thinking about her Nana, and she felt this beautiful warm breeze blow over her, a beautiful warm breeze out of nowhere. Just there's no other way to describe it than a warm breeze that wrapped her like a beautiful hug. And she looked up at the stars, and she knew that her Nana was with her. She knew that Nana was right there, embracing her the way that you guys said that you imagine visualizing little paws embracing your heart. That's what she felt from Nana, this beautiful warm embrace, and a message that was not in a voice, that was more of a feeling, that was more of a knowing and an understanding. And that message was, I am everywhere. And this is from Nana's perspective. I am everywhere. I am everything. I am everywhere. I am in all places at all times. I will always be by your side. And then this sense of just compassion, of love, the deepest sense of love she had, so much so that I feel it. I feel it, and I feel that embrace. And from Nana, this was important for you guys too, for those of us connecting with animal companions. From Nana, the feeling was one that I am with you all, everywhere, all the time. It's not that I'm here in one place with you, and then tomorrow night I'm going to go be with somebody else, and the next night I'm going to go be with somebody else. On the other side of life, excuse me, I know my voice is cracking. I don't mean it to. On the other side of life are beautiful companions, animal, human, and it doesn't matter. Hang on, I'm going to take a drink. The souls step into such a magical space that they can be everywhere at any time for everyone. And I happen to be talking about a human, a person, but the soul is the soul. And it doesn't matter if it's a cat, a dog, a horse, a bird, a bunny rabbit, a mouse. None of that matters. When our animal companions or when people in our lives cross to the other side, they enter such a state of being that we cannot even wrap our little human minds around. They are able to be all places at all times. When someone asks, but what if I don't feel my animal companion? It's okay. It's okay. All you need to do is know that they are there. They are everywhere. They don't leave their physical body and then go off over here or off over there or up into heaven or somewhere, wherever the Rainbow Bridge may be. They enter the beautiful field of love that surrounds all of us. It travels through, around all of us. It's inside of us. It's outside of us. It makes up everything. And when we leave our physical body, this is going to be you too. When we leave our physical body, we will enter that space that allows us to be everywhere for everyone all the time, any place. And when I was starting to reveal too much personal information, although I probably already have. When I heard this story of the connection with Nana, it just filled my heart with joy to know that our animal companions are right there with us too. And so I just wanted to share that with you, that all souls are the same. And when those souls cross to the other side, we don't lose them. We haven't lost them. It's part of when we talk about turning back the clock. You can, because time is fluid. We don't lose them. They aren't lost. They aren't gone. We are not taught how to connect with them. We're not taught how to continue that relationship, which is part of what I try to do. When I say we get a little hairy-fairy, what I really mean is that I'm trying to show you that you still have the ability. Everybody does. Nobody has to be a medium. I say when I introduce myself that I'm a medium for animals because we have no other word for it. I simply have learned how. I have learned how to connect and communicate with a soul or an energy or a spirit that is no longer in the physical, but has gone to the non-physical. And we all have this ability. Every single one of you has the ability to make this connection. We just need to learn how. We just need to figure out how it works for us. And for everybody, it's going to be a little bit different. But let's talk about time again. I want to talk about Gypsy too, and keep an eye on the time. All right, I'm gonna. Anyone else notice the light over Elaine just brightened? Isn't that? I don't know why that happens, guys. Honestly, I would love to chalk that up to something spiritual and metaphysical. I think that has to do with my computer. I think it has to do with when I get close or far away. I don't know. But sunlight moving in and out? No, it's not. Because it's dark here. It's dark because I'm in the central time zone now, so it's later than usual for me. But that's too funny that you guys are seeing that. And there's me trying to give a physical explanation for something that is most likely not necessarily physical. Okay, let's talk about this thing about time. So when this came to me this morning, not only from the comment that I want to roll back the clock, I want to turn back the clock. I just want her back. It also came from my experience in the airport today. When I see what I saw today, when you look without judgment, I was simply observing the people around me, observing the energy around me, observing the way the people were interacting with each other, observing the conflict, observing there was more than anger. There was also some crying. There was impatience. There was a lot of denser energies. And I'm simply observing this and thinking, this is why so many of us cannot make that connection with our animal companion on the other side of life. It's not that we're not making the time. It's not that we don't desire to. It's not that we don't want to. It is that our animal companions, I'm trying to phrase this in the right way. When we're stressed out, it's like we're putting up a wall. It's like putting up a brick wall or a red wall that doesn't allow them to get through to us because we've got so much else going on. There's so much more tense stress and energy that makes it very challenging for them to get through. It's not that they won't. It's not that they're going, it's not that they're like tapping their own watch going, hello, I'm right here if you would just look. It's not that at all. It's that they really can't get through to us because we have put up almost like this barrier around ourselves. So how do we let go of that barrier? I'm going to suggest, I might as well do this now because I don't want to forget. If anybody wants to join me this week, this is going to be harder than you think. I would challenge you to pick a day when you can set this thing down and not look at it. Set it down and not pay any attention to it for a whole day. Do you think you can do that? I don't know. I sometimes say that my life is in here. Everything. I mean, I keep my money. I keep my credit cards. I keep my license. I keep everything is in here. I do this to check my messages. I do this to check my email. I do this to take pictures. I do this to keep track of family. I do this, right? This right here can be one of the things that keeps us so wrapped up in things that are not necessarily important to life. They think, when I say, I think my whole life is wrapped up in here. Yeah, my whole life is wrapped up in here. My whole life is wrapped up in my heart. So maybe we'll pick a day this week and we'll make it a cell phone free day. Who knows if you guys can do it. I'm willing to give it a try if you're willing to give it a try. So at the airport this morning, there's a lot of frenetic energy. I'm just looking at my notes real quick. I don't mean to be like not looking at the camera, but and I was trying to think of all the things that we associate with time. How many times a day do we say the word time? We don't have enough time. What time is it? It's time to do this. It's time to do that. Have you set the alarm on your clock? Did you give yourself a reminder? Take a time out. I couldn't think of all the time. I don't remember what I was writing there, but on the other side of life, time does not exist like that. Dinner time. There you go. Our dogs and our cats and our other animal companions, they know what that is. They know when it's chow time. For sure. Can you scroll up a little and check out Imensa's comment? All right, hang on a second. Imensa, I don't see anything. Oh, here we go. I'm new here. I lost my pet 3 weeks ago. She was murdered by other dogs. I weren't there to save her. My heart is broken. I just want to know that she's okay and happy. Okay. Oh, and I think your name might be Fatima. Fatima, let's see if we can't get to that. So it was 3 weeks ago, and it was other dogs. I might have to come back to this because I might have to do a little bit of thinking on how best to explain that, and what happens when because that has happened before. We have talked about there was a kitty cat who was killed by a dog, and I have some thoughts about. I have some deep thoughts about it, but I might want to come back to that. But you are more than welcome here, and that's part of that. If we talk about guilt, which we often talk about, guilt, shame, and blame. Shame and blame was actually going to be the topic tonight until I was sitting in the airport this morning, watching everybody and the way that they were interacting, because blame and blaming other animals, blaming other people. I know when we talked about the cat and the dog, when the cat was killed, there was a lot of blame for the person who did not bother to control their dog. There was also blaming the dog. And then there's that piece of self-blame, the piece of self-blame about not being there to help and not being able to do anything. One of the other examples I tell is about a beautiful friend of mine whose dog right in front of her was taken by a coyote. And there was nothing she could do. Nothing. There was absolutely nothing that she could do. So how do we get past that kind of guilt? So we will talk about that, and we'll see how tonight goes, how far I can get to that. But Fatima, know that if I'm hoping that's your name, you are welcome here, and you will get the support that you're looking for from people here who understand guilt, understand blame, without judgment. I talk about blame because I have blamed without judgment, without blame, without judgment. Really is the most important thing. With compassion, we will support you as you work your way through this. But thank you, Sharon. I appreciate it. So that's how it works, guys. For those of you who may be brand new here, that's how it works. We all support each other and try to help each other as best we possibly can. Okay. Now, where was I? Don't remember. Okay, so let's pick a place. We will talk about that time is not the same for animal companions on the other side of life, for anything on the other side of life. Time, it's not that it doesn't exist. I often say that we transcend time and space. When we practice Reiki, when we practice energy healing, we talk about just transcending time and space. There's no such thing. That time is a human construct. We made it up, but that's not necessarily true that it's made up. Time is a resource that we use here in the physical world. It helps us manage our physical world. I like to joke that time's only good for one thing: making your flight on time and like baking good chocolate chip cookies. Time does serve its purpose, but we often get wrapped up in it as opposed to we allow time to drive us instead of us being able to utilize time. So on the other side of life, there's no sense of time. Animals don't wait around for us to start de-stressing so that they can connect with us. They're not tapping their foot impatiently. They don't give up. They don't say, well, it's been weeks and I've been trying to get through and she's not listening, so I guess I'll just forget it. Does not work that way at all. Their spirit, their essence, their soul becomes part of this. And I've tried to explain this before, and I don't necessarily do the best job explaining this beautiful field of energy that they become part of that's all around us. But that's really what it is. When they leave their physical body, their soul enters this space that we can't visualize here, but they don't leave us, and there's no separation. They simply leave their physical body, but they don't leave us. They are right here for us, and time for them can be instantaneous or it can be long. It's fluid. That's the best word for it. It flows. And if you start to explore some of this a little bit, what you'll discover is that time is multi-directional. It doesn't go in a linear way, the way that we have assigned it. It doesn't go from the years. If you look I was watching some little show today that it was doing a chronology, and it went back to like 500 BC, and it went like this. And then there was arrows going like this. It doesn't quite flow like that. We think that time is linear, but time is actually, it's much more, there's a better word than fluid. Resilient? No, I don't know, but it's very malleable. And we have the ability to access different points in time. We just don't think that we do, and we're not taught that we do. And that's what I want to do tonight with you in this guided meditation. For now, if you want to start exploring this a little bit more, you can look up the different theories about time. But for now, you would just have to trust me that it's multi-directional. It doesn't just flow from the past and the present into the future. We can go back, and although we can't turn back time to have a physical presence, at least I don't think that we can. I haven't quite gotten there yet. We can't go backwards in time and have our pet be right there again with us, sitting in our lap. It doesn't quite work that way, but we can go back and shift our memory, shift our perceptions, shift our perspective in such a way that it's no longer as painful, that we can change the way we look at it. I guess that's the best way for me to explain it for now, but we'll come back to that. So let's see, what else do I want to talk about? That clock watching. That's the other thing. Have you ever experienced, that's why I wrote clock watching, because to explain the fluidity of time, I think you've all experienced this. You have experienced where an hour seems to drag on forever. So let's say comparing an hour in a dentist chair as opposed to an hour, what's something fun that we like to do that if an hour would go by like that? If you're doing something fun and something you really enjoy and an hour flies by, or you're doing something that you just wish you could get out of, and an hour just seems to go on forever, or a minute seems to drag on forever. There's a sense of a shift in time where sometimes it seems to go really fast and sometimes it seems to go really slow. That's because time is not what we think it is. And we can control that. We can manage it. Tonight, when I think about the 30 minutes that I spent preparing for this evening, as opposed to the 30 minutes a couple of weeks ago that I did, it's totally different. And it felt different. And you can have it feel different for your animal companion, for you and connecting with your animal companions as well. And there's a point to all this. Just give me a second here, and I will get to it. So on the other side, time does not exist the way that we think that it does, because whether it's a year, a month, or 10 years, it's completely irrelevant. My beautiful Peanuts was my childhood dog. I can go back and make a connection with Peanuts, and it will be for her just like it was yesterday. There's no sense that it's been 40 years since the last time that I scooped up little Peanuts. She was a little Chihuahua Terrier. You could hold her in the crook of your arm, and that's what she liked. She liked to be held like this and have her belly scratched like that. There's no, even though it was 40 years ago, I can go back in a meditation and connect with her the same as if it was yesterday. And there are also, you can do this too, for if you are ready to bring in a new animal companion into your home. You can go into that same quiet space in your mind. I'm going to show you how to do this in a minute. You can go into that same quiet space in your mind and ask an animal companion who is yet to be a part of your life to connect with you and to show you what it feels like and so that how you'll know them when the time comes for you to bring a new animal companion into your life. So the message from our animal companions is to try to appreciate time. Instead of rushing through our day, instead of rushing from one task to another task, instead of rushing from one obligation to another, instead of rushing down the hallway, instead of hurrying, that was really more what it was about. If we could just let go of the hurry and relax for a moment, we open up a space where our animal companions can get through to us. The more that we hurry, the more stressed we are. And so to let go of the hurry and get off the little hamster wheel and take some time, carve out some time for yourself to be able to connect with your animal companion. And it's okay to grieve. Like, you can take time to grieve. That's the other thing I get a lot of comments about is no one appreciates how long it takes. Why is it taking weeks? Why is it taking months? Don't worry about that. Everybody heals in their own time. And you can have it happen instantaneously for you, or it can take a little bit of it. Can take. How many times have I said time tonight? Don't know, but it's okay. All right, let me just check my notes here and see where we're going. I'm going to check comments real quick. Woohoo rabbit hole. You guys are funny. I love to go down the rabbit hole. Camera on my phone. Okay, I'm going to go back and check this. My cameras are there so I can check to make sure nothing's going on. Okay, fine. Camera on my phone. Okay. Rabbit hole. Last hour sitting at my desk in corporate. Right? Yes, 100%. Oh, or when you have to take a test in school, right? It feels like the clock is ticking backwards. There's a movie where that happens, right? Where the clock goes the opposite direction. Maybe pets' experience time partially explains their shorter physical lives. That's a real distinct possibility that they I'm trying to think of the right words. They don't regret that their lives are shorter than ours. They don't have a second, they don't ever give that a second thought, that like a dog doesn't go, oh darn, I wish I hadn't been born a dog because I'm only going to be in this body for like 12 or 15 years if I'm lucky. They don't even think about that at all. It's not a consideration. So and again, when we think about how we assign time and we say that a dog's life is like 7 years of a human's life. So think about that. They're packing it all in a short period of time. The word just is going to keep plaguing me tonight. So yes, they experience time differently. They absolutely experience time differently. Here's another example. Because I have so much travel, last week, this week, and one more week yet of travel, because I've got so much of this going on in my life by choice, I am so thrilled that I have the ability to do this, to go from place to place, to come here and support my family and be part of this process, to go and watch my granddaughter, to go be with other family members. I love that. But it's going to mean that for extended periods, I am away from my beautiful gypsy. And one of the first thoughts I have is she going to think that I left her? Is she going to think that I'm being away too often? Is she going to be upset that I'm not? But she's not keeping track of the days. And I love to use the example that, and I've told this story before too, if you were to take your spouse and shove them in a trunk and close the lid on the trunk and leave them there for half an hour, and when you come back and let them out, they're going to be spitting mad. They're just going to be, I mean, it's an exaggeration, but they're going to be livid. They're not going to be at all happy that you put them in a trunk. However, if you were to take your doggie and put your doggie in a trunk and close the lid, and a half hour later come back and let them out, they're kissing you all over the face. Like, oh, there she is. They love you. And they just are kissing you all over the face. So there's a distinct difference in how they perceive time. So Gypsy is not pacing the floor, wondering where I am. And when I hold her in my heart and I talk to her, even when I'm not with her, I talk to her frequently. There's no sense of distance. Does she miss the cuddles? I'm sure that she does, the way that I miss the cuddles, but there's not that sense of time. So yes, I think it does partially explain their shorter lives, but there's more to it about their shorter lives. Their lives are shorter for a reason, because they come here for a very specific purpose. Every single animal comes into our life for a purpose. And when they leave, sometimes when it's traumatic, like for Fatima, when the situation is traumatic, it's us who are traumatized. Our animal companions, when they cross to the other side, it's gone. It's released. There is no blame on the other side either. That's something I think that they're trying to help us work through. They are trying to help us from the other side of life work through this this fear that we have of death, The fear that with this fear that we have of not having life anymore and of not having them in our life, what they're trying to show us is that life goes on. Life does not end. Life goes on even if it's not in a physical body. Okay, so I'm not 100% sure where I was going with that. In school, it's torturous if you're tired. Sometimes, right? Business meetings, I remember them. I mean, total torture to sit in meeting after meeting and try not to have your eyes closed, and the clock just goes so slow. Yeah, that, yes. So, school was talking to your son about this morning that the clock won't move. Yep, 100%, Kathy. That is what we're talking about, that it's fluid. So what is the whole point of all of this? The point of all of this is that, number one, we should slow down. We live a very hectic lifestyle that is generally on a schedule. We have a certain routine that we follow every single day. We wake up at a certain time. We set an alarm clock to wake us up at a certain time. We have to eat breakfast at a certain time. We go to work at a certain time. We have doctor appointments at certain times. We have this appointment, that appointment. It's usually one thing after another throughout the day. We schedule our days. And there is not an animal on the planet who schedules their time. We schedule their time for them. We often say it's time to take a walk. It's time to go to the potty. It's time to go to the vet. It's time for your breakfast. We schedule their time, but they do not schedule time. So the first suggestion that is coming to me from them is we need to figure out a way to be less rigid with our time. And even if we just do it for a small part of every single day, carve out that space where you can devote it to them, whether it's an animal companion who physically shares your life right now, or it's an animal companion who shared life with you in the past. If you can sit down and dedicate some time, dedicate space, I have no better word than time, that's devoted just to them. Find a chair, find a tree, find some place. And here's why it's important. And some people may say, but I don't have the time to do that. What is the prioritize? Prioritizing what is important. For me, it is about being able to connect with animals. For me, it is about being able to sit down, close my eyes, and say to myself, I just had this conversation with someone yesterday, and it was 2 days ago, and say, I am, the bills are still going to be there. The work that has to be done on the car, still going to be there. These things that we worry about all the time, they're still going to be there. I like to visualize, and sometimes I do it without a visual. Without a visualizing in my imagination. I'll go ask a tree, you know what? I've got all these thoughts going through my mind. Would you mind just taking them for a minute? Just hang on to them for me. Just keep them safe for a minute. And so I can free myself of this, so I can just sit down and be present for my animal companion. This is all about, so if let's just say it's Gypsy who shares my life right now in physical. This is Gypsy's time. I am going to give this time to myself to be with Gypsy. She's a member of my family, and I love her, and I want her to know that she's loved. And the best way for me to do that is to let her have this time together. She wants nothing more. She's blind. She has no eyes. She loves for me to just do little brow massages on her. She just loves that. She could sit for hours and just have me massage her eyes like this. And why would I not want to do that? Because I know that her life is so much shorter than mine. I know that I'm not going to get to spend as much time with her as I would like to. So devote the time. Now, let's say your animal companion is on the other side. What do? You sit down and you hold them in your memory. You bring them to mind. You hold them in your heart. You think about their memory. And it's okay if you cry. So what if you cry? I cry all the time. There's nothing wrong with feeling sad over not having them with you. But I'm looking around and realizing that I'm not in my own home space. I have for Lucy, Jack, and Winston, I have their collars. I have their paw prints. I have their fur. Sit down for a moment in a quiet space, hold on to their little collar, and remember them. And here's what happens when you bring up their memory and you let all that other stuff go and you just hold them in your heart, they come to you. They want to be with you. They want to be still a part of your life. They want you to smell them, taste them, hear them, touch them. Okay, taste them, that wasn't right. They want you to know that they're still there. And it's when we can let go of this rush and hurry and stress that time will shift and you'll be spending, it'll seem like hours that you've spent with them and it's only minutes. We can stretch that time and they will connect with us and let us feel and know that they're still with us. So that's the one thing. Letting go of the stress allows us to connect with them, and devoting that space to them allows us to keep the connection. And it helps us heal, not just heal. It helps us know that we are still connected. So Fatima, I don't know your beautiful dog's name, but you can still connect and know that she is still with you. He or she is still with you. And then there's one more thing I want to say about that, but I'm going to look at comments real quick. Stop and smell the roses. Oh, there you go. There's a reason we say that. Stop and smell the roses. Look at the sunset. Smell the flowers. Just be. Just allow yourself to be. We came into these physical bodies not to be hurried and rushed all the time, but to actually enjoy all the beautiful things around us. Enjoy. I'm looking, there's some beautiful photos here. Enjoy the photos. Enjoy the smell of not just flowers. I love the smell of rain. Enjoy the sounds of things. I love the sound of running water. I love the sound of the ocean. Enjoy all those things. We came here to enjoy them. Lucy's name keeps showing up in my life lately. I take it as you needing support. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And you know what? It is, I appreciate the support more than you guys can possibly know. I appreciate the support because over the past few weeks, I really have needed it. And I'm not the kind of person who like asks. I just don't like, it's just not, I don't reach out usually for assistance. I like to be the one who offers, but sometimes everybody needs it, right? I'm trying not to let my voice crack again. Sometimes we all need a little help, right? We all need a little assistance. We all need a little help. So I truly, truly do appreciate that support. The interesting thing about Lucy, though, is that her name keeps coming up again and again. So something's going on there, and I'm not sure what it is, but you're not the first person who said that Lucy reached out to them or that the name Lucy keeps coming up. So there's something going on with Lucy, and I don't know what it is, but it feels really good for me right now. It feels like a good thing. So I'm really curious to see how Lucy is going to show up. Today, it was earlier this morning, right before I was getting ready to leave, and Gypsy's right now with my hubby. So I'm getting ready to leave, and there was clicking nails on the floor, like clickety click, click, click on the floor. And I spoke to Gypsy. I was like, "Oh, Gypsy." I'm like, "Hang on a sec." And then I realized, oh, wait, Gypsy's not here, but that wasn't Gypsy. So I had a sense it was Lucy who was letting me know that she was present by making me hear the clicks on the floor. Those are some of the signs that we can listen for, by the way. We haven't done a sign episode in a while, so we'll have to talk about more about signs. So how do we turn back the clock? How do we shift things a little bit? And what I'm going to do for you this evening is turn back the clock in a way that allows you to make a connection with your animal companion. I know you guys, a lot of you guys know this about me. I love to go down the rabbit hole. I love all the hairy fairy stuff. I like this idea of playing with time. And I think that we can go back and shift things. I know through meditation that we can go back and connect with past versions of ourselves. I love to go back and connect with little Elaine, little girl me. She wears a cowgirl costume. I have this photo of myself when I was 5 or 6. And it was way back when. And I'm wearing this cute little cowgirl outfit and these red boots and this really cool little cowgirl hat. I'm like, that's the little girl I remember. She had so many hopes and so many dreams. And she was going to do this, that, the other thing that she didn't do. And so now I give myself the freedom to do a lot more than I ever did. But I've gone back there and talked to her, and I'm like, and I tell her, you have so much potential. There's so much cool things, and look what you get to do in the future. Look what we're doing. So and when you do that, it changes the way you feel about yourself in the present. And I know this has nothing to do with animals, but I also talk to my future self, and I'm like, if you could just show me where I am in the future and help me now to get there, I would. And I see my future self. My future self has connected with so many more animals. Wow, man, there's something going on with Lucy now. I can't quite wrap my mind around it. But it's my future self and Lucy doing something really cool together. But okay, we're going to do a little meditation. So I'm checking out. Lucy's asking for you. She really is. Lucy is there is something going on with Lucy. Aaron, he's been catching this on the replay recently. Aaron is the other one who brought up the fact that Lucy not just Lucy and Jack commented on a video with a Jack and Lucy pair of dogs that came up on a rescue group. Oh my gosh! So you'd be the next person who had Jack and Lucy show up. Aaron also had Jack and Lucy show up for him. Needed to hear all that you're talking about. Promised myself to slow down and have plenty of quality time with my kittens. Marian, I'm so glad that the message resonates with you. And I think that even I need to be reminded. And that's why with the airport this morning, just taking the time to observe without judgment, it was a reminder to me to slow down. And I did. I'm usually one of the, I walk at a pretty quick pace. I'm a pretty, I can hustle with the best of them. And I reminded myself to slow down. I had a smile on my face. I was just happy. I wanted to be happy. I love airports, by the way. I love to fly. So I'm like, I'm just going to enjoy this experience of being in the airport and get myself a little something, go to the shop and pick up something for myself and walk to the counter and walk to my gate and enjoy myself, truly enjoy yourself. To really slow down and enjoy the moments. There are some very special moments that we miss so frequently. And one of the most important that we talk about on this channel is connecting with our animals on the other side. So that's where I want to take you now. Loved connecting with Lucy. Okay. So what I want to do is help you turn back the clock. And I mentioned this, you can do this little thing for anything. I'm going to have us do this for our animal companions, but you can go back, literally. This is part of what gets taught in, and I've brought this up before about rewiring our brains. And remind me the name, guys. Why is it not coming to me? Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches it. Bruce Lipton teaches it. I'm trying to think of the other. Greg Braden teaches it. There's quite a few teachers of this. But they teach us how to quiet our mind and actually go in and reprogram it. So our brain can be rewired. And I just can't think of the name of rewiring our brain. I'm looking in the comments to see if anybody else has that. But we used to be told that old dogs can't learn new tricks. That's what we were taught. Well, that's so wrong. Our brains, as we age, they don't have to go down. We can actually, we may be stuck in bad habits, but we can reprogram all of those habits. Neuroplasticity. Thank you very much, Fatima. Yes, 100%. That's what it is. Neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is where we actually reprogram our brains. And it takes a little bit of effort. You got to do some of the work, but it can be done. And when I think about all of it, it can be done for a bad habit. It can be done to reestablish a new habit. It can be done for dieting. It can be done for aging. It can be done for connecting with our animals. It can be done for connecting with a past self. We simply rewire our brain so that we think the way, instead of our brain controlling our thinking and our thoughts controlling us, we control the way that we think. And you can literally reprogram your brain. So we could go into, I have done episodes on this before, and I'll do them again if you want, but this is what I'm going to do with this guided meditation. It starts with focusing on our breath. So if you're in a place where you can do this, thank you, Kathy. Yes, neuroplasticity. I'm just going to read one more comment. Corporate Elaine when going through the airport. Oh, yeah. That's right. Corporate Elaine. That was me because I did have to travel for business all the time. Oh, I was the traveler. I knew how to I was pre-checked for everything. I knew when to take my shoes off, when not to take my shoes off. I could hustle through a line. I knew exactly what to pack. I marched down the through the airport. And then if I had to go on vacation, I marched my family through the airport. And now I just like to relax and enjoy, relax and enjoy. All right. So what I'm going to take you through is a little bit of a guided visualization. If you are in a place where you can do this, of course, if you're driving or operating heavy machinery, don't close your eyes. Don't take your hands off the steering wheel. Come back to this at another time. But I'm just going to guide you with a little story. And I don't even know, I love to do this freely, like a free flowing words. I don't have any meditation written out in advance. I just want to take you on a little journey. And this is for specifically for the person who said they would like to turn back the clock, that they just want her back. And I think all of us have been there. If we could just turn back the clock, if we could just take the words back, bzzz, and take back the things that came out of our mouth that we wish we hadn't said, if we could take back a moment in time where we would have done something differently. And I will tell you, Fatima, I think you're the person who may not have heard this story, but you know Winston. Winston is one of my dogs who I thought I was going to be able to hold in my arms as he crossed. I knew that he was very sick. And I went to work. I was only at work for 4 hours, but in that 4 hours is when he chose to cross. And I remember feeling so guilty. In fact, I was blaming my husband. Many of you have heard the story that I was screaming at the top of my lungs because little Winston was deceased in our living room, and my husband was sitting there eating lunch and didn't know that Winston had crossed. But it was me who I was blaming. I was blaming me. Literally, I was blaming me for not having been there. I have people who have reached out to me to say they fell asleep. And then the moment that they fell asleep is when their animal companion crossed. And so was their animal companion alone. Or in this case, if you weren't there when an animal was attacked by another animal, the little, what was that little doggy's name with the coyote? Honey. When Honey was taken by the coyote, the things that we could have, should have, would have done differently. And then we're angry with so many things. If we could just turn back the clock and change one thing, we would do it. And these regrets go far beyond animals. I'm sure we can all think of examples in our life where we could have, should have, would have done something differently. And so that's what I want to guide you on tonight. And when I share this with you, I want you to know that you can do this for anything. If there's any situation in your life that you are holding yourself responsible for, even if it was someone whose feelings you hurt when you were in junior high school, it doesn't matter. A family member that you said something that you wished you hadn't said, or something that you did that you regretted for yourself, a decision you made that you wished you hadn't made. We can't go back and change the situation. We can go back and change the way that we look at it. And for this evening, I'm just going to take us on a little journey that will hopefully allow you guys to connect with an animal companion. And it can be anybody. We don't know who's going to show up when I do these little visitations, when I do these little meditations. Sometimes unexpected animals show up. That's how I remembered Peanuts. I hadn't thought about Peanuts in years. And one day, when I do these little meditations, it's a weird thing that happens. The words come from my mouth, but there's a part of me that's in the meditation. And in one of the meditations, my little Peanuts came back to me. And anyway, so who knows what animal may show up for you, but you can ask for a specific animal to show up. But hang on a second. Sorry, as I got myself emotional a couple times tonight. I'm going to take one last look at comments, and then we're going to do this. I took one look at Dean, and my heart sank, and I felt like crying. I hope you make the connection with Jericho. Okay. I'm not 100% sure. All right. So I'm guessing that we're talking amongst ourselves. That's all good. Totally good. I love that. I love that you guys support each other in the conversation. All three of mine passed while I was holding them. Well, I'll tell you, for Winston, because Winston was a rescue, and who rescued who, right? Winston showed up out of nowhere. He just appeared one day. He had to either be dropped by angels or aliens because of where I was. But I knew he was so sick. And from what I practiced, because I practice working with animals at end of life. As an animal chaplain and an animal Reiki master, that's the practical part of what I do. Like I work with animals at end of life. And I thought, Winston, I thought we had a deal that I would just let him. I was ready. I was emotionally prepared to hold him in my arms and guide him to the other side and just be there for him as he crossed. And it just, so for that, I was emotionally prepared, but all three of yours passed while you were holding them. And being an animal empath, oh boy, that has got to be a topic, because I'm also an animal empath. And by animal empath, it means that I take on their emotions. I feel animal emotions more than I feel sometimes human emotions, but I made myself a little note about that because maybe that's something we can talk about. Okay. You're going to meet a new puppy this weekend. So I noticed that I think you changed your handle, right? And then there was me. I thought there was I thought that it might have been something different, but anywho, I might just be misremembering, which happens all the time too. When we go back and shift time, sometimes memories really do change. And triumph, obsession. I am an animal and an earth empath. Well, all right. So I'm going to put that down because there's ways to handle that. There are ways. It's the only way that I now practice at zoos and that I practice with animals at end of life. And I work with animals in shelters whose future does not look bright. It's because I've learned how to rechannel that empathy instead of taking it in. How I kind of redirect it, alchemize it. Okay, but we're going to do this meditation before it goes. We've been on for over an hour now. All right, so here's what I want you to do with me. Just relax. And this is if you're in a place where you can. I want you to be somewhere where you can close your eyes. You just sit and relax. Allow your body to be whatever chair you happen to be sitting on, a sofa, a chair, a bed, the floor. Let that chair just hold you. Let your whole body you don't have to do any tension. You don't have to keep your shoulders up straight. You don't have to do anything. Let your gut hang out. Just relax and be and start to breathe. And I like you to focus on your breath because that breath is not just air. That breath is the field. It is that energetic space of pure positive love where your animal companion now resides. So when you breathe in, you are breathing them in. And as you exhale, you might want to focus on exhaling any of those worries, fears, doubts, all the thoughts that you don't want to hang on to right now. Just let them float out with your breath. Breathe back in loving, fresh, beautiful energy. And exhale anything that does not serve you. Nice deep breath in. Allow your body to just rejoice in that beautiful air. And now when you breathe out, breathe that love back out. So you're creating a beautiful cycle with your breath. Breathing in loving energy, breathing back out loving energy. You can feel it around yourself. Let it create this beautiful, imagine a mist. You're breathing in love, you're breathing out love. It comes into your body, it flows out of your body. Let it fill the whole room that you're in. And if you've got animal companions in the physical with you, just let it flow over them. Let it flow over your house. You're breathing in, you're breathing out. You're actually one with everything right now. It's a calm feeling, a good feeling. It's an easy feeling. Flow and ease and peace, grace and love and joy. Breathe it in. And sometimes those little things pop up. Another thought will come into your mind, or a sadness may come into your mind. It could be even a little harder. You might think about that blame that you're hanging on to. It might cause you to like, no, just release it. It's okay. It's okay. You just observe it without judgment. Breathe in love and light and release love and light. And in this space, I want you to visualize a clock. This is going to be about rolling back the time. And it's an old grandfather clock. Just picture it in your mind. Let it pop right into your mind. You know, one of those clocks. They're really tall. And sometimes they have chimes or a weight that hangs down from the bottom of them. And there's a face on the clock. And you can see the time on the clock. And I want you to picture the hands of the clock. They're right there. And sometimes those really cool grandfather clocks, they have a glass door that you can open. And I want you to visualize yourself opening that glass door. And I want you to reach in and literally, I want you to turn back the time. It doesn't matter how far. It doesn't matter what time it was in your mind. You're just going to move the hands on the clock backwards. And you know how they move. When you move with the long hand, the short hand moves too. Just move it, let it spin a little bit, and it's going backwards. Counterclockwise is how you're turning it. And now you can stop. And in your mind's eye, using your imagination, you're closing the door on that clock. And I want you just to relax. And the visual of the clock kind of disappears. It just kind of dissolves into your mind. And in this space, I just want you to invite an animal to come join you. Just open your heart, and whatever animal shows up for you, whatever immediately pops into your mind is perfect, just the way it is. It may be an animal you know, it may be an animal from your past, it may be an animal that you're very familiar with, or it may be a brand new animal companion. Whoever shows up for you is perfect. And all I want you to do is share this space with them. Just relax and be with them. Let them come into your heart space. They are just as comfortable as you are. And ask them for a message, some kind of message. It may be a word, it may be a sound, it may be a feeling, it may be a full message. It may be a message of hope, a message of forgiveness, a message of ease, a message of relax, of peace. There is one thing that our animal companions want us to know, and whatever that one thing is for you is the message you're receiving. Hold that in your heart. Let your heart fill with love. Share that love. Feel your hearts come together as one. And whatever message you've received is just yours. And you can do this at any time, and it can be two ways. You can also share a message. You can say that you're sorry. You can say that you wish you were still together. You can say anything at all. And then know that every single time you do this, a little piece of your heart begins to heal. One little piece at a time, our hearts begin to heal. And you can ask your animal to help you heal. You can ask them to be with you. You can ask them to help you release any hardness that you might hold in your heart, because they hold none of that there. They are in a place of pure positive love. They have the ability to wash away that all. And now just kind of let that dissolve, keeping the feelings in your heart, but letting them dissolve back into the energetic field. And I want you to bring your focus back to your body. You might want to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, stretch a little bit. Nice deep breath in. Cleansing breath, breathing out, And whenever you're ready, you may open your eyes. And you can do those kinds of things anytime. You can do those visualizations anytime. You don't even have to go through the whole process if you don't want to. You can sit down in a chair. You can simply breathe. And you can let go by choice of any of the thoughts that you don't want to think. Our thoughts are ours to manage. And you can invite your animal companion to come join you at any time, and they will help you to heal. And they will help you to let go of the grief and the blame and the shame and the doubt and the anger, because we don't need those things. They don't have them there, and they don't want us to have to suffer with them here. All right, my friends, I have really gone on tonight. I did not realize how much time we've been spending. Oh, the picture changed. Okay. All right. All right. I thought the name had changed for some reason. Maybe it was just the picture. Or yeah. I don't know. I guess it was the picture. And I can only see just a little bit now. Okay. The pick is Gary. Okay. All right. Okay. My friends, thank you so much for joining me this evening. And I think that's all I have for you. So next week, I'll start planning for next week about empathy. And even I still want to share a little bit more about shame and blame, because hanging on to those things also stops us from being able to connect. But okay. As always, you are so welcome, guys. It was nice to share this evening with you. And I will see you guys all again next Monday, or at some point this week if you're in any of my other classes. All right, my friends, have a beautiful night. Have a good week, everybody. Thank you guys for supporting each other. I always forget to say that if you have found benefit from this group, please share out these videos and click the subscribe and click. I hate all that. I just want you guys to have a beautiful, wonderful community. Have a beautiful week. I will see you all soon. Until the next time, may animals light your way. Take care.